training with Errol. You actually sparred Manny in the past. You have a good insight on both of these guys. Good intel. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I'll go into what I was saying about whoever strikes first. Basically, they're both fast. They both come to the ring with great game plans. I think that Errol I think he's more so on the I'll make adjustments and then I'll handle the business. And Manny he comes to the ring with this is what Freddie and I have decided to do. This is what we're gonna do. So I think that when I say who strikes first, I mean who can never implement their game plan and who can land that strong left hand first. Manny's fast. Manny will catch you off guard. I mean, if you speak to Keith, he can really speak to the speed and the movement and rhythm of Manny Pacquiao. Gives a lot of guys problems. And so when we speak to Errol having to make adjustments, can you make that quick adjustment? Or is Manny going to strike first? You know, then the other side of that is, hey, Manny, if you can't come out here and have your foot on the gas pedal from the opening bell, which we don't normally see from Manny, but if that's something that he can't do and he allows Errol to start to see his speed, his rhythm, and figure him out, Errol will figure you out. And when he does, he'll find that speed that he likes, and he'll put the cruise control on, and he'll strike.
In terms of strength, Manny said he felt he was stronger than Spence. You fought Spence, you sparred Manny. I know that was a few years back when he was in the better years of his prime, but overall strength-wise, who do you think that's going to have the advantage?
Strength has got to be Errol Spence Jr. He is the bigger man. I think he's stronger at 147. And there's a lot of things you could say to that. I mean, we say speed makes power. You know, so when we talk about Manny Pacquiao's power, is it true brute strength, or is it just that snap that he has behind that speed that creates that power? You know, so I think that Manny has a great has a great knack for beating guys to the punch and really stinging them, and kind of like a scorpion, you get kind of paralyzed in that moment, and you stay there too long, and it's, you know, it's all she wrote. So. But I think overall we can say that Errol Spence Jr., even though he's younger, he's a stronger man.
What's your prediction for the fight?
I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I really do up and down. I love this fight. I love this fight for the styles. I love this fight for obviously one guy being more mature and just trying to continue to conquer the sport, conquer the division, conquer the younger generation, and of course Errol Spence Jr. everything that he's been through and come through, and now just trying to continue his legacy, man. I love this fight up and down, man, for every reason you can imagine. I can't pick a winner. I don't really want to pick a winner. I don't like making predictions in the first place, but I really don't want to pick a winner because I just think that there's so much greatness within this fight. I don't want to narrow my mind to one thing and expect one thing, and when I see a different result, or just be so narrow-minded on that I don't see a different outcome, you know. So I'm keeping my mind open to all the possibilities, man. But the most open possibility I do have is who's going to land that straight left first.
Now, you talk about Errol Spence. You fought Danny Garcia, you fought Errol Spence. Spence said he was at almost 80%. Did you notice a few ticks off the fastball with Errol Spence in that fight?
I would agree with his 80%. And that's not from, I think that's maybe from being in the ring with him, of course, from studying him. I didn't see that he was moving slow or anything like that. Just saw that there's a little bit of spice that he has, and I don't think he had all of his ingredients that night. But it's, you know, it doesn't take everything to beat everybody. You know, I think it took everything for him to beat me. I don't know if he's ever publicly said that, but I think it took everything that he had to beat me. I don't think it necessarily took everything that he had to beat Garcia. Garcia's a little bit more dimensional than myself, you know, so I think that helped as well. But I did see him 80%, but when you figure everything that he had been through and coming to the ring at 80, 85%, you got to expect him to be upwards to 95, 100% for this fight, you know, which makes this fight great.
Do you think the younger generation, Shawn, will look at what Manny Pacquiao is doing here and saying, look, this is a guy willing to step in there against the best to get the richest fight possible. I need to do the same. Is it going to be a trend-setting thing?
I just asked Keith if he had watched The Kings yet, and basically was asking him that because if you watch the Kings, this isn't anything new. This is like a part of history. Guys come out of retirement to kind of reclaim their glory. They come out of retirement chasing glory. They come out of retirement for the paychecks, and I mean the list goes on. So we've seen this before, and I think that if you watch the Kings, you see it multiple times with Leonard specifically, but you see it again with Durant. I didn't know that part of the story of Durant's story, and you even see it with Hearns, which I was aware of. But you see this part of history. You see guys chasing glory, and you see guys conquer it. You know, so if anything, we need to take a look at history and use that as a possibility as well. You know, I do. I think that to your question, I think that the younger generation should look at what Manny Pacquiao is doing and understand that we each have our own legacy. And if we understand what we want our legacy to be, if we understand what we want out of life, out of this sport, don't stop until you get it, you know? And there is clearly something that Manny hasn't achieved yet, or something else that he saw that he wants to achieve. So I appreciate it.
There's a lot of legacy-defining fights that could be made at 147.
Yeah, man.
What's the next fight for you?
I don't know. I'll go ahead and say this. They showed the on the video. They showed that the champions right now, obviously Errol Spence Jr., and then they also show your Dennis Ugas and Jamal James with the WBA, and they of course show Terence Crawford. And I've been publicly saying that I wanted that Terence Crawford fight. I do want that fight. But we talk about our side of the yard. I kind of looked over at Keith. I didn't say it, but I was like, why don't you go get Ugas? I'll go get Jamal, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do after that. So just saying all that to say there's a lot of great fights to be made. This is a great time to be in the sport, and I think that if we all make the right decisions and do the right things, we all can kind of lead the sports with our head held high.
What's ultimately the thing that's stopping from you fighting Terence Crawford? You've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know. I can't. I don't really like to speculate, and all that kind of stuff. I understand the business of boxing, but when it comes to different promoters working together and networks working together and all that kind of stuff, the only thing that I can say is I've seen it work once, now almost twice recently with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So it gives me hope that something can be done, and I would love something like that for myself and for Terence Crawford. Obviously you guys see me, I'm sold on it, but I don't know if it'll happen, and I'm not salty about it.
You watched Thurman fight Pacquiao. Did you think Thurman was shocked at first by the speed and because it's hard to simulate?
I'm telling you, it takes a minute. It takes a minute, and if we talk in terms of boxing, and what I mean by a minute, it could take upwards to 2 or 3 rounds for you to kind of settle into everything that Manny's doing. And so with that being said, yeah, I do think that Keith was a little shocked. I think that he was ready, but not ready enough. And Manny's one of those guys, you got to come to the ring ready.
Appreciate you.